Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Got a great opportunity to visit with Brian Gordon. He's a regular contributor, a brand new contributor on the Price of Business program, talking about one of the most important topics out there. More than 1/3 of the population are baby boomers. There's still a ton of silent generation people that are out there, and and some of even the greater generation, and baby boomers are now largely entering retirement age in mass, and they're really kind of running out of time to be able to figure out how to affordably plan for long-term care. And that's exactly what you do at your company. Tell us a little bit about your company, and of course, give us your website, Brian.
Sure. MAGA is a long-term care insurance planning firm that's been around since 1975 and chose to specialize in this area, obviously, because of seeing what the demographics look like, as well as just seeing how many people are ill-prepared for living this long life that we're starting to see people live today. And so MAGA has chosen to work in that space. We work with financial advisors from coast to coast, as well as working with accountants, attorneys, other key influencers to people, as well as like geriatric care managers, and we do partner with home care agencies to kind of help the public understand more about long-term care, because a lot of times when those folks are working with home care agencies or geriatric care managers, they are having obviously a crisis, and their parents, a lot of times, and aunts and uncles and grandparents don't have a really good way to fund that type of care for themselves.
Talk a little bit about your topic today. Kind of introduce it for us.
Our topic today is the asset-based or the hybrid life and long-term care policies. And long-term care insurance, the traditional plans have been around since roughly about 1974. And those types of plans have done a great job for people. Originally, we were working with a much older population buying the policies, people in their roughly their mid-70s when I started in this business. I started working with my dad back in 1990. Our average age was probably closer to 75 or 76, whereas today our average age is about 56 to 57 for our clients. And so what the baby boomers and what our clients today want to see is they like to see some policies that are guaranteed. They like the idea of if they happen to live and need care, that there's a benefit for that pays for long-term care. If they should die and never need to use the policy or only use a portion of it, there's a death benefit that comes back to their beneficiaries. And then in some cases, if they decide to quit and stop paying those premiums, there is some cash value in the policies, and in some cases, the policyholder can get their entire deposit that they put into that policy back in their hands.
Yeah,
the idea is that these policies will function just like a traditional long-term care plan on the long-term care side of it. These policies benefit triggers, and the policy that the long-term care part of the plan meet the IRS Code 7702B, which is a federally tax-qualified long-term care policy.
Right, and so it gives you additional tax savings that some long-term care plans simply don't.
Well, and not so much as the tax savings. The idea is that it meets the federal guidelines to purchase a policy like this, where people could actually use an HSA to fund part of that premium, depending on the carrier. We also have a carrier or two out there that a person can use some qualified funds. We see executives, we see people out there today that have somewhat heavily funded their retirement, but maybe not as cash solid as they'd like to be, for themselves. So they are looking to, put portion of that, 401k qualified account and buying into a long-term care policy for themselves. Mm-hmm. And we also have people that have had some very large gains in annuities, and their annuities in their eyes were, okay, this is something that we're going to use if we actually need care for ourselves. Somewhat what we used to hear a lot of times was called the rainy day fund to help pay for some of this care down the road. And what we had a client do not that long ago was put in I think it was about $120,000 into an annuity long-term care plan for him and his wife, and that annuity money basically tripled the amount that he had put into it to help pay for long-term care for him and his wife. The idea originally was that annuity was going to help fund it, and the idea was that the basis was pretty low on it, and the gain was fairly high. So if he started drawing down on that annuity, he realized that he was going to not only, draw that annuity down pretty quickly, but he's also going to pay tax on that gain. And as we all know, the gains are going to come out first. Gains are going to come out first from the contract, so they're going to be paying taxes right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So he was able to really, hedge his bet and put it all into a long-term care type of plan. And it also has some growth on the annuity side of it as well. But as we know in the market today, it's not a tremendous growth, but it's a safe way to guarantee a nice long-term care benefit for the couple.
Yeah, and if it makes you feel better, the listener feel better, there's nothing out there with a lot of growth.
Right.
Unless
exactly.
you're in stocks and certain stocks, and they're so highly speculative. You could be doing great today and in the poorhouse tomorrow. So if you're looking for steadfast, secure growth, then you're going to get it. So I guess it's multi-functioning ability that makes it unique.
Yes, yeah, and there's policies where we see people that have life insurance contracts that have some nice cash value in them, and the policies eventually will basically run out on the client in the future. So we see people that are repositioning those dollars as well, and giving themselves some tremendous life and LTC benefits. We even have one carrier that functions as a second to die policy, and also allows the client to buy an unlimited continuation of benefits on that plan as well, which is kind of unheard of because right now we have no traditional plans and no other companies that do even offer unlimited protection on long-term care. As you can imagine, the companies are they're learning very quickly that the unlimited benefit is very expensive to reserve for, and that open checkbook and that potential for the lengthy claim is somewhat concerning to these companies.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. And people, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what kind of investment, obvious link to your health and your age, but kind of give the listener a feel for what kind of cost they would be looking at based on maybe age or other factors. Give me some for examples, if you will.
Right. Well, depending on the type of plan people are looking at, let's say we're talking to a couple that's 55 years of age, in relatively good health, and they're both the husband and wife are 55. I'm looking at a plan that basically would give them $7,000 a month for the first 25 months they needed care for themselves. Okay? And on the back end of that policy, if they need care beyond that 25-month period of time, or beyond, in this case, the $175,000 death benefit, they would then be able to go into a continuation of benefits portion of the policy, which would give them unlimited benefits, and it would give them that 3% compounding inflation on any benefits that they receive in the future. And that inflation, they look at how many years they've already had the policy in place. So they're going to end up getting, if it's 20 years, 23 years or so down the road, they'll end up with $14,000 a month per person if something were to happen to them. So the single pay on that policy was about $181,000. The 10 pay on that policy was a little bit over $21,000. And then the lifetime pay, this particular company, you can design it like a traditional plan where we can pay this premium forever. And by the way, all the premiums on this policy are all guaranteed. But the lifetime pay premium is a little bit over $9,400 per year for that type of protection.
So about $900 a month, $800 a month.
Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit more on the pricier side, but it does give guarantees, and it also shows that if they don't have to ever use this policy, that there would be that $175,000 death benefit coming back to the beneficiaries. Now, remember,
and we got about 30 seconds, Brian. I have to wrap it up.
No problem. So the base premium help funds the life insurance. So the base premium is a smaller portion of what the actual premiums are. So if you look at it from that aspect, the policies look really good. But again, people are buying these for the unlimited benefit and the guaranteed premiums for themselves.
Love it. Brian Gordon, he is a regular on the Price of Business show. Mega, MAGA-LTC, his website, megaltc.com. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward to having you back on here on The Price of Business. More for you after this.